Welcome back guys to my YouTube channel, and today I'm going to be showing you how you can design this type of arched window in ARCHICAD. So if you notice in ARCHICAD the other windows are normally the square ones and the rectangular ones. So I'm just going to be showing you how you can achieve this in CAD. So to achieve this, we're going to go to our ground floor, and we're just going to draw out our window first, and then we're going to use slab tool to make the actual window. I'm going to draw it using my line tool. Then we're going to use slab tool to make the whole window. So I'm going to first draw the width, which is going to be a bit like 2000. And I'm going to enter, and then I'm just going to draw another one on top of this that I'm going to use to make the arc. So I'm going to use my arrow. I'm going to first make this other one curved, and I'm going to make it curved like this, maybe somewhere like this, and then I'm going to have this kind of curve. So with that done, I'm just going to copy the first curve, and then I'm going to paste it on the exact position where it is. So then with that done, I'm just going to take one of them, and I'm going to offset it by, let's say, somewhere there. I'm just going to roughly use it, like just roughly get somewhere there, and then let me just Control Z to make sure I've offsetted the right one. Maybe first escape, select one, and then I'm going to offset it to make sure it's on the right position there. So with that done, I'm going to use the same thing. I'm just going to Control Shift D, the baseline, and then I'm just going to offset it a bit, maybe like, let's say 40. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to remove these overlapping lines. I'm going to use my control. I'm going to cut them out. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to cut the lines out to have my frame of my window. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add the inner frames, or the mullion frames. I'm going to first start by putting a center line for my center, the frame that is going to be at the center. And I'm just going to drag a copy of this to create an illusion of a frame. So I'm going to make it 30, and then I'm going to enter. So we have this illusion of a frame of our window. So I'm going to do the others for the same for the rest of this. One is going to be here, and I think another one is going to be here too. So so with that done, now you can offset. You can just drag a copy of this or offset it to create another frame here. Maybe let's just create it in the inside, maybe let's say 30, and then I can enter, and then do the same with this one. Control Shift D, and then 30. Just dragging a copy and entering. So I'm just going to extend this so that they can meet my corner frame, my outside frame, and create some kind of window like this. So with this done, you can now go to a slab tool, and then I'm going to go to my settings, and I'm going to create make sure the settings are that of my window frame. So I'm going to make sure my ID, I had changed the ID. Let me change it to a window, and then I'm going to make sure my material is stainless steel, which is going to make my frame stainless steel. And then I'm going to make sure it's like 50 millimeters, let's say 5 centimeters, and then I'm going to press OK. Without pressing OK, let me make sure my surface finish is maybe dark gray. Let's look for paint, and make sure it's dark gray, and then we press OK. With that done, now I can just magic wand it on the whole thing so that everything becomes a slab. And then I'm just going to minus the parts that are going to consist of glass. So I'm going to come here, my node, use the minus key, and then magic wand on where I want to remove I'm going to place my glass. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm going with this done, I'm just going to go back to my slab tool, then make the same slab for my glass. So I'm going to come here, I'm going to select my material to be glass, and then I'm going to make the thickness to be a bit thinner, maybe 10. And then I'm going to make my glass to be the blue glass. Let me come and select it, and then I'm going to press let me make sure this one is glass. And then I'm going to press OK. So with that done, I'm just going to use my magic wand and highlight the areas where I want my glass to be. So I'm going to do that. that, and then we have something like this. Let's go to our 3D and confirm what we have for our window. So it's something, let's see, let me just come closer so that you can see it. Yeah, this is what we have as our window, and we are going to, I'm going just to change it to ink to be black so that it can become more conspicuous. So I'm going to do this like that. So that done, now I can orbit so that you can see what we have. Yeah, something like this. You just orbit well, and then we have something like this. So I'm just going to save it as a window first, and I'm going to show you something that's going to happen when I just save it first. So let me come here. I'm going to go to File, go to Libraries and Objects, Save Selection As, and I'm going to save it as a window. Then I'm going to call it Arc Window. Let me call it Arc Window 2. Then I'm just going to save it, and I'm going to press OK. So with that done, you can now go to Story 1, and I'm going to put it like, they're going to be like Clear Story type of windows. Let's make sure I can see everything. I don't know where everything is. Yeah, somewhere here. Here it is. And I'm just going to place my windows on this wall, and let's see what's going to happen. So I'm going to look for my windows in the window tool. Then I'm going to place them here. So I'm going to place it somewhere here. Place the same here. Place the same here, and maybe place the same here. With that done, I can add one here so that I can drag the last one bit somewhere. Just drag it to the edge a bit, then open the space between these two. Yeah, and do the same for this one, and the same for this one. This will allow for me to add another one, I think. Let me see. Yeah, let's just start with this one, and let's go to the 3D and see what we have. So I'm just going to zoom out first and go back to my plan, and you can see this is what is going to appear. It's going to be just a good window, but the square, there's going to be a square hole for my windows, because ARCHICAD by default uses square windows for and square wall holes for my windows. So I'm just going to make a hole in the wall that is actually the same shape as my window. So I'm going to go back to my ground floor. Let me go to ground floor, and then I'm going to come back to where I drew my window, select the outside lines, then I'm just going to drag a copy to the side. So that, yeah, with that done, I'm going to use the slab tool again, and then I'm going to create a wall hole for our window. So I'm going to go to slab, I'm going to highlight it there, and then we're going to now change the settings of this slab, because I know it is something else. Let me first escape. Let me select the slab. Then I'm going to go to my slab settings, make sure it's airspace, because that is what a hole in the wall that it entails. So I'm just going to make sure it's, let's say, 200 millimeters wide. Then the material should be air, so I'm just going to look for air in the materials, and then it's going to highlight in everything. And then for the classification, I'm just going to change it to be from window. I'm just going to call it a wall hole. Then I'm going to press OK. Then I'm just going to take the same thing and drag it back to where it was in my window. Yeah, with that done, I can now delete this line here, and now I have my window plus my wall hole together. So with that created, I'm going to go back to my 3D. Then I'm just going to go to my window where it is, and you can see it is going to have a window and then a wall hole that is with it. So I'm going to save both of them to be the same, to be the window as a whole. So I'm going to go to File, Libraries and Objects, Save Selection As, and then I'm just going to save it as a window, and I'm going to replace the one that we made earlier. So I'm going to save, and I'm going to replace. So I'm just going to change the ink from my wall hole to be black, and then I'm going to press OK. With that done, I assume that it's going to, let me escape and use my orbit. So I assume in the 3D it's going to change, and you can see my windows are now the wall hole of my window is just the same shape as my window. So yeah, that's how you create this type of arched window in ARCHICAD. Yeah, so I hope you have learned more. You have learned about this type of windows, and that's it. That's all about it. It's just a matter of creating a window and creating the wall hole for the window. So yeah, make sure you stay subscribed so that you can continue learning these creative things in ARCHICAD. And you can actually just shape your window according to how you want it. You can shape it to be like this arc or to be any shape you want, as long as you create a wall hole that rhymes with the window. So thanks for watching, and I hope you've learned. So